When I think about my purpose at work is first is whatever is my role, I should put 110% into it and make sure that I'm a positive contributor to my team and my firm. And if I can't do that, then even if I'm doing my job well, but it's with cynicism, then I don't think it's going to help anybody out. While I am managing some of the team members, they can come up with a problem for which I don't have a solution to right now. But it's not necessary that I will not have a solution to it after 2 years or 1 year or 6 months. So, but if I don't listen to that problem at all, I'm not going to find a problem even in the future or a solution to that problem. It's a human thing to want recognition. But if you want to do it like every step of the way, that could be very pressurizing for your own self. Over a period of time, I've come to realize that if you want that constantly, then it's very troubling and it kind of messes up with your creativity and thought process. And say, for example, if I have a product to build in mind that can only gain success after a couple of years of its existence, if I have a need of constant recognition for it, in most cases I will be disappointed, and I will not be willing to wait for 2 years to get my recognition.
Hello and a warm welcome to episode 8, part 2 of our podcast series, Crafting Your Writing Career, Paths and Possibilities, brought to you by the Learner Me team. I am Mahua, your host, and we are thrilled to continue our conversation with Deepankar Majumdar, Senior Content Manager at Boston Consulting Group. In this episode, we will explore Deepankar's insights on the purpose of life, team management, interpersonal relationships, his passions, and his top 3 key learnings. Let's welcome Deepankar and begin our learning journey today. Welcome, Deepankar. We'll start this part of the episode with a question about the purpose of life. Have you ever wondered what is your purpose in life? Have you tried to connect your work with purpose and passion?
Yeah, I think about it every day. Sometimes I feel it's a futile exercise to think about my purpose on earth because it will be like thinking like a speck of dust. But I do think what my purpose is at work and with my family or with my friends and my personal level. In both cases, one thing is common. There are many uncommon things, but in both cases, one thing is common. I would like to be positively contributing to people's careers or personal life. Right? Sometimes people will come to me and tell me about a certain problem that they are facing, and we can't do anything about it. Probably I don't have the resources, or it is just above my pay grade. I just can't do what solution that is required. But see, it's even good to listen to them and understand what the problem is. So sometimes when I think about my purpose at work is the first is whatever is my role, I should put 110% into it and make sure that I'm a positive contributor to my team and my firm. And if I can't do that, then even if I'm doing my job well, but it's with cynicism, then I don't think it's going to help anybody out. So that is the purpose I think about work, that I should do this. And mostly everything fits into this. But if I look at my long term purpose, like what I would want to do, I think what, like we are talking today, whatever experience I have, I'm sharing with you. And hopefully it will be helpful for some people. Going forward, also, I would like to share my experiences, if not teach people something, but help people out. So while I was studying in college and postgraduate, I used to take a lot of tuitions. That was my source of income at that point. So it helped me kind of develop this habit of try to help people out with certain learning or something like that. But I think that is also one of my purposes that I try to do. There is a lot of learning material out there, which is sometimes paid, sometimes free, but you have to choose what you're going to learn. Like when I go to YouTube, I have a certain kind of topics that I only see. I don't see anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Since I work with a lot of people who are very early in their careers, I think the best step that one should take is having a mindset where they are telling themselves that, and others also, that they want to learn few things and be very specific about it. I want to learn these 3 things over a period of 2 years. That will help to chart out a path for that learning. If somebody comes to me and says, Dipankar, I want to learn Excel, I don't know what to do with it. But that person comes to me and tells me, Dipankar, I want to learn these 10 things in Excel, which will help me do these things, my day to day job. Then it's simpler for me. Then I can tell that person that, look, it will take 2 months to practice and learn. And after that, it will be done. Then we can move on to something advanced. Even if you look at any online course or any offline course, that is how it is built, right? So you have certain steps of going to a certain advanced level. And you can't skip the basic and get on to the advanced level, right? So when we start, and even for me myself, what I try to do is when I zero down on something that I want to learn, I take enough time and I try to plan out, okay, these are the 4 steps I will take and I will get to that level. And then I will see if I want to go to the advanced level. And my biggest purpose is have fun while whatever you're doing. If you're not having fun, then it's most likely that you will disengage with it at some point of time. So that's what it is.
And in terms of team management, since you are a senior manager and you're managing a team, so what has been your learning from managing a team and reporting to somebody?
Yeah, of course. The first thing is that my experience has taught me is to listen first and do not act on impulse. Sometimes we discuss a topic where my opinion might be different from the opinion of the other person, whether it's my teammate who's reporting to me, whether it's my peer, or whether it's the person whom I am reporting. It's better to kind of completely understand the situation before you react immediately, especially in the roles that we do where it is sometimes not very black and white mathematics. But listening to the other person's opinion and the reason why that person is saying so is probably very important to kind of understand the whole relationship interpersonal structure that you have within the team. While I am managing some of the team members, they can come up with a problem for which I don't have a solution to right now, right? But it's not necessary that I will not have a solution to it after 2 years or 1 year or 6 months. So, but if I don't listen to that problem at all, I'm not going to find a problem even in the future or a solution to that problem even in the future. Similarly, with my people who manage me, they have certain expectations from me. And I should be clearly able to articulate how am I going to fulfill those, expectations. And that's why we write goals while we are starting a year and all of that. It happens in every company. So I think there are certain structures that help you do that. But one common theme that I follow is listen to everybody and then try and understand what is going to be my role there. Right. And the benefit of the team takes precedence over my benefit. Because my individual benefit might not help the team. And that's why I steer away from recognition. Mm-hmm. Like always this need of recognition. Because I can keep myself aligned to the objective of the team rather than my own personal objective. It's very pressurized to always just have this sense that I have to be recognized for everything that I do. I just try and stay away from it as much as I can. Whenever it happens, it's good. I like that. I feel good about it. But it's not always required for me. I try and steer away from it. As long as I've done my job well.
So more to do with self-satisfaction rather than somebody appreciating you. Or
yeah, I mean, it's completely fine with me. I have come to that conclusion. And I think the habit of constant recognition could be actually an impediment to your work because you're not fully free with your mind. So that's what I try to do.
That's a very good thing, actually. Sometimes anything we do, we would want that one should recognize.
Yeah. So
that I have done this.
Yeah. So I'm not saying that recognition should not happen. Obviously, it should happen, and it's a human thing to want recognition. But if you want to do it like every step of the way, that could be very pressurizing for your own self. And sometimes educational and growing up system is like reward and punishment. If you do this, you get this. If you don't do this, you don't get this. And then you get into this habit of constant recognition. But over a period of time, I've come to realize that if you want that constantly, then it's very troubling. and it kind of messes up with your creativity and thought process. And say, for example, if I have a product to build in mind that can only gain success after a couple of years of its existence, if I have a need of constant recognition for it, in most cases I will be disappointed, and I will not be willing to wait for 2 years to get my recognition. So that's why I think I realized that sometimes it's okay to keep doing your job, and that's enough. You know? So I think that is what my learning has been. There are many other things that happen. Doesn't matter who your colleague is, whether they are up in the organization with your same level or other people who are reporting to you or are not reporting to, but you are juniors in the team or in the organization. It's very important to have a, if not a friendly relationship with them, but with some relationship with them, at least a professional one, if not anything else. Because then you have discussions with people, then people open up, they share their ideas, many ideas in many meetings. What has happened is we are discussing and somebody has a good idea, but by the fear of being publicly ridiculed is a very harsh word, but something else that is not taken in the positive way, not accepted. Many good ideas don't come out. And then people are kind of putting their bet on anonymous surveys, right? That somebody is going to give us ideas like that. The best thing is that we try to build an environment where people can share ideas freely. Ideas are supposed to be a little not thought out, right?
Yeah.
You brainstorm on a certain thing, then some solutions will work, some solutions will not work. But what is the brainstorming situation about if we don't get some, like, if Elon Musk told somebody like 20 years ago, I'm going to build a rocket to go to Mars, it most likelihood people will like laugh at it. Like, but there is a rocket, right? So right now. So it's based on like what kind of, that's why having an interpersonal relationship with people within your working environment is very necessary, so that you can have an idea exchange with people. That helps.
So Deepankar, while you say interpersonal relationship is necessary, and I also agree very, very much with this idea, but there are people who kind of find it difficult, right? Especially people who find conversations to be awkward.
Yeah. That could be a personal trait. We have this word called reserved,
introvert,
or introvert, but I'm not saying that we should have a personal discussion about your personal life. That's a separate story, right? If somebody comes to me and discusses about their personal life, that stays with me. That's a personal discussion. But while we are working, if people are not open to discussion, then I don't think anything positive will come out of it, right? Then what happens is that people who are so-called extroverts, only their ideas will be heard and worked upon. And in my opinion, it is not very appropriate to look at two. So extroverts and introverts, I don't believe in these two terms too much. But the thing is that if only one kind of people are giving you ideas, they are of a certain kind.
I guess
what
I was trying to drive at is basically, even if you consider yourself introvert, on purpose come out, right? If your objective is to speak about something, you think your idea may help, whether or not it is accepted, it is best to at least speak about it. If it's not accepted, not accepted. What harm will come your way, right?
Nothing.
But at least you can present it and see how it might be very, very beneficial to the organization, to the team that is listening to you.
Yeah. Right? So in a professional setup, introvert and extrovert is not a very viable term in my opinion. If in a professional setup, you have an idea, you've thought about it, you can communicate it in many ways. You can email that idea to somebody who is kind of listening to it or would like to listen to it, if you are unable to voice it out in a meeting or a one-on-one conversation. So I try to encourage my teammates to talk about not only about their work, but also about their careers. Because if they don't tell me what is their career aspiration, how can I get them work which is aligned to their career aspiration? Now, that's not a matter of introvert and extrovert.
Mm-hmm.
That is a
It,
matter of choice,
yes.
right? That this is my choice and I have communicated it to somebody who can do something about it. Now let's see what happens. But if you have not spoken about your career over a period of time, then in most likelihood, you will not be able to do and get work that you actually wanted. So extrovert and introvert is okay in personal life. But I think extrovert and introvert is not fully viable professional setup if you're not willing to contribute in a meeting for some reason. There is always email, there is always another messaging options that you can have. But I would say if you have an idea, say it's not about that. Nobody, and sometimes we think people are just looking at us. That's not really true. Nobody has the time to just keep looking at a certain person. And again, going back to my point, don't do it. Like I don't do everything for recognition. Sometimes I know my idea will not be accepted, but just as an experiment, I throw it out. Let's see what happens. I know the solution that I'm offering is either too expensive or the technology does not exist or we don't have enough bandwidth or people to do it. But why not throw that idea and see what happens? So I think it's nothing to do with extrovert or introvert. It's just that what is your professional goal? And if it requires voicing your opinion out in a written or a verbal way, it should be. It has to be.
So, Deepankar, now let's talk about your passions.
Generally, I like reading a lot, and I don't read fiction much. I watch
Okay.
fiction quite a bit, but I don't read fiction. Sometimes I read about how to form habits, about, say, a finance driven book or a professionally helpful book. Sometimes I might read about some political idea, some psychology driven book, something like that. So I read different topics. I make a point that I read at least 30 minutes every day, which is very helpful and refreshing. And it helps me balance myself out. So a lot of things happen during the day in both professional and personal life. And that is my switch off button, to be honest. I just switch off and I just read and then I go to sleep. The second thing is I like traveling a lot. Whenever I get a chance, I try to travel. And even if it's not an exotic location, I think I like the company during the travel rather than the spot itself. So I like traveling with friends and family. Sometimes I've actually even done like solo trips. I don't mind my own company that much. I read somewhere that most of the world's problems exist because a person cannot sit in a room quietly with himself. So I try to practice that.
Okay.
I like watching Malayalam movies a lot. I think they are the best movies, at least in India, if not the world. I think Iranian movies probably are the best, but I like watching regional cinema quite a bit, whether it's Bangla, because Bangla is my mother tongue, so I'm comfortable with it. But I like Tamil, other movies, Malayalam movies, English movies. So I like watching movies. Then I sometimes like cooking whenever I can. So I like to try my hand at it. But yeah, I mean, in the last few years, I think I've done it a little bit lesser, but I do want to rekindle that habit a little bit. So I mean, these are my general passions, which I like doing, kind of to just be myself, my own self. I think my personal self is a little different from my professional self. It's
One
not 100%
alignment,
self.
one
Yeah,
alignment is there though. Your reading habit is continuing in your
yeah, yeah. So that's
professional
why
life also.
yeah. I think that's one main thing why I like what I do, because I get to read a little bit through my job also. Although it's different kind of content, but still, I don't mind it.
Nevertheless, reading.
The rest reading. But yeah, I do have certain aspirations. I don't know whether they will ever be fulfilled or not. But I've always wanted to learn to play a musical instrument, but I've never gotten to it.
I
I
have
aspired
bought
to.
one for
Okay,
myself, but
that's a
no, I have
step
not been
one.
able to learn
At
it
least,
yet.
yeah, at least step one is done. I have not even done step one. So yeah, that's and then I think these are my general passions. But then there are some moving passions also that I develop suddenly, and then I forget about them. Then I develop one again suddenly. Then I forget about them, and one of them is going to the gym. So right, I develop, and then I just let it go, and then I again join, and then I let it go. But yeah, I mean those things. But yeah, I mean these are general things that I like.
Nice. So it's good to have something outside of work so that there is something to carry on with, right?
Yeah, of course. The another why this is required to have like a hobby or a passion or whatever you do. It's I don't think it's appropriate to always just connect yourself to work all the time. There has to be a time when I'm just myself, and that only happens when you're following something. You are just free from everything else, and that. So like I even if I don't go to the gym sometimes, I do take like an hour whenever I can to just walk around 5 odd kilometers. So it helps me kind of recenter myself and think about a solution. And most solutions to my problems I've found while I'm not thinking about them. When I'm thinking about them, there is no solution that I find. But later on, when I'm doing something else, suddenly that solution will come to my mind. So that's why I think it's also important to take some time.
So let's end the conversation with 3 key learnings that highlight your career till date.
I think the first highlight is that I have been able to work in good firms with good people, with very professional people who always motivated me to do more with my ability. They sometimes challenged me, sometimes they encouraged me, sometimes they gave me situations which seemed very difficult, but actually were very beneficial. So I think that is my first highlight. Second highlight is during the course of my career, I ended up learning a lot of practical skills regarding executing work, creating processes, creating products, and also managing people. And also working with people who are actually not part of our team, but they could be our stakeholders in some way. The third thing I've learned is it's purely about relationship building,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is the core of whatever I've done so far. So, and that relationship has building has happened not just with people who are here in that location, but also people who I've never met at all. People who are in different countries, different geographies, who speak a different language, etc., etc. But that for me is diversity. I think I have a very diverse experience, which is, again is a happy accident. I never thought it will happen, but the experience that I've got with diversity is actually quite incredible. When I think about it, I sometimes find myself very lucky that this has happened. It has not only made me a better professional, it has made me a better person. I very strongly believe that all of us might not be similar, but we are all equal. Sometimes similar and equal are used as synonyms, but that isn't really true. Right? We could be coming from different backgrounds, diverse things, but we could be completely equal when we are working or otherwise. Another thing about knowledge management is, which is rare in certain line of work, that you could be coming from any profession. I have colleagues who are doctors, chartered accountants, CFAs, from a literature background and engineering background, medical background. So it's a eclectic hodgepodge, and it makes the environment very diverse and also vibrant, because of a single problem, you hear solutions from different angles. And that is one of my greatest learnings and my highlights that I would like to say that I don't put in my resume, but I think it's the best thing that has happened to me.
So that was really good to hear because without even understanding or realizing, you get to hear so many wide variety of viewpoints, right? Because
Yeah.
they come from such varied backgrounds.
Yeah. I think the diverse the team, the more unique the solutions are.
Mm-hmm.
And by diverse, I just don't mean just male, female, or just regions or the language you speak and all of that. That is always there. But diversity in your educational background and the way you think.
Mm-hmm.
That diversity creates incredible outcomes somehow. So I think it's been a really rewarding career for me so far. Not only personally, but like whatever I have in my personal life, it's mostly because of my professional life. So I guess it's been a good ride so far. I don't know what future has in store for me, but I will keep going and see what happens.
Okay. So, Dipankar, it was lovely talking to you, and this conversation, I believe, will be helping a lot many people. And with this, we end the episode. I sincerely hope you found today's conversation both interesting and informative. Your thoughts and comments are invaluable to us. If you have any questions or seek further insights, please don't hesitate to drop us a message. Your engagement fuels our growth and guides our content direction. Thank you for being an essential part of our community. If you enjoyed today's episode, please hit the like button and share it with friends, colleagues, or anyone who might benefit from our discussions. Also, consider subscribing to our channel to receive notifications of upcoming episodes as soon as they are released. Stay tuned for the remaining parts of this episode on knowledge management. Thank you once again for tuning in. Have a wonderful day ahead.